People of God, y'all doing all right? Well, I'm doing all right. I'm glad you asked. Listen, I want to talk about this title here that when I was when I had my podcast several years ago, I had a co-host named Alvin Carter, and he coined this phrase as I was trying to explain how people make money based off of somebody's failure or their crime. And he said, "Whoa, that's the fortune of failure." And I thought that was a brilliant way of saying it as I was trying to explain to him my thoughts. And so I want to talk about this today. What is indeed is the fortune of failure, and how does it affect our economy? I seen 60.
You good. You good. You good. You good. Don't stop it.
Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say.
Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones.
He's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones.
Sirwalterj Jones.
Report live 7 days a week, always on time, but his time is not free. Sirwalterj Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics had you jumping out your seat.
He's got something to say.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Hello, my Sirwalterj Jones show. I'm here. It is the midday connection. Baby. Come on in and watch fine. Y'all doing all right? Good to see all you bunkers out there. Arthur, Deborah, Danny, Sunkiss, blessing to you. Thank you. Carolyn, Elaine, a whole bunch of y'all here. Diane is here as well. Fortune of failure. I'm drinking my tea because I want to see if I could explain what the fortune of failure is. My daughter had her truck stolen a few weeks ago. I don't know, maybe about a month ago, right in front of my house. And I told you all she had not secured her key fob like I typically do. I put it in my Faraday pouch, which blocks the RID something chip. And so the guy came by and he stole her car, her truck. She was without a truck for, I don't know how long he had it. It feels like it was about 2 weeks. And it was a bad time to sell her car because she also had the flu, and she gave us all the flu. It was a rough time for baby girl. My heart went out with her, but I did encourage her. I said, baby girl, they're going to find that truck. Chicago Police Department are good at one thing, and they're good at finding cars that's been stolen or carjacked. I said, so just hold on. Thank you, Elaine, RFID. So she held on. And then while I was on the show, you all were here live. The police knocked on my door. I'm glad baby girl was home, because I probably would have ignored all that knocking and just continued with the show. And she answered the door, and the police found her truck. The police says the boy was driving around the neighborhood. Here's the thing. This is how dumb some young people are. This fool was driving not far from my house, and he had his girlfriend in the car, and he just driving around. And so they pulled him over and they arrested him, and they came and told baby girl, come get the car from the police station. We got in there and we went and got it. And I noticed that when we picked up the car, the truck, the license plates was missing off of the back of the truck. I said, baby girl, the license plate is missing. What happened to it? She said, oh, it's in the trunk. I said, okay, this fool took the license plates off the back of the car, left the license plates on the front of the car. How dumb are you? Because in Chicago, it is illegal to drive. I'm sure all in 50 states probably. It's illegal to drive around with no license plates in the back. The police gonna pull you over. So that's dumb because he's driving around illegal. I mean, obviously he's illegal because he stole a truck, but he's driving around with no plates. So he's just saying, "Come get me." She said, "Well, they didn't catch him because he didn't have a plates in the back. They caught him because they ran the plates in the front." I said, "Really?" "Yeah." The police, she says, probably was passing him, or maybe on the side of the street, and he passed them, and they saw they ran the plates in the front because they looking for her truck anyway, the make and the model. So any make or model that they see on the street, they're going to run that plate. So they ran it in the front, and they were able to pull him over. Okay. Now, here's why I'm doing this show today. Is this. It's what the police said to Rebecca. The police said to baby girl, he is an expert car thief. Evidently, he do this every week. He is a career criminal. I said, "Baby girl, is that what they told you?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Baby girl, now ain't that a shame that he have done this so much that he has graduated to the place of being an expert car thief, and evidently he's not an expert for them to keep catching him." Number one. Number two, the fact that the courts keep putting him out back on the street is a problem in this society today. Stealing a car in Chicago is likened to a misdemeanor. And I've known this for years. This is why these little boys just steal cars and carjack cars, because they know that all they need to do is post bail tomorrow. And they'll be back out on the street to take your car again. The fortune of failure. Your children is what's keeping this economy alive. And I'm going to show it to you all here. I'm going to pull up some stats. And these stats should not surprise you because you all know how this works, but I just want to show you something. When that boy stole my daughter's car, it gave job security to dozens and dozens of people. Dozens and dozens of people stay alive. This is why in Chicago, I'm using Chicago as an example because maybe that applies to your city as well, that, you know, catching criminals, they know they're gonna be criminals out there, and to catch them, some cops are just frustrated because they know as soon as they arrest this guy, they're going to have to arrest him again tomorrow because he's going to be out on the street. And some cops in their mentality is, you know what? Why? Whatever. I just want to get home safe to my wife and children. So they like, I'm going to spend my time filling a quota required by this precinct for this food to be out tomorrow. Wash, rinse, and repeat. But then they come to their senses and say, without crime, I won't have a job. Without crime, I won't have a job. So let's find out how many people that this fool who stole baby girl's car. How many people did it affect? Well, first of all, it affected the police who pulled him over. So the police gets a job, and maybe some of you all can start writing the number. All right, I'm gonna give you some titles here, and then you all can start counting. And at the end of the show, come up with a number. That one fool. How many jobs did he create? How many jobs does this one fool create? The complete list of police department jobs. All right. Entry levels. Okay. The dispatcher or the telecommunicator. So the police pulls him over. He went into his police car and he called in to the dispatcher. Okay. He might have ran. I don't know. He might have done something. Ran the plates. Well, he obviously ran the plates, then pulled them over. Okay. Dispatcher. You've got crime analyst. You've got an intelligence analyst. They work with the police and the sheriff department. You have an evidence custodian. It's a person who oversees evidence and is responsible for its safe and secure storage. Y'all counting? You got a records clerk. Okay. You got police aid. You got an investigative assistant. Y'all still counting? Y'all still counting here? And I'm going to read some of your comments because some of y'all give me some good jobs too. Okay? You got a crime scene technician. Forensic science, on and on. You know, the fingerprint person. Okay? Now that's immediate. That's the police department. And Dania is giving me the tow truck. Y'all counting? Okay. That's police. Let's see what else we got here. And then we go to the courthouse. All right? Here's the courthouse, and some of this may overlap. Courthouse. Here's the court clerk, right? Court clerk. Here's the judge. Here's the witness. Court interpreter. The court reporter. Don't know what's going on with this. Here's the court officer. If it goes to trial, here's the juror. Here's the petitioner. Y'all see all this? Let me clean this up a little bit. Y'all counting all this? Oh, wait. Hold on. What that say? What that say? Let me see. Hold on. Full screen. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I found a quicker way. Okay. Court officer. Okay. Petitioner. And then you've got defense attorney. Prosecutor. Plaintiff, which would be my daughter. Okay. Did I leave anybody else out? You got a respondent, they say. And obviously the thief is the defendant. Okay. That's what makes up the court. Y'all still counting? Renee said, if I count, then I'm involved. That's pretty good. All right. Who's next? That's court. We got to now go to the prison. If he's arrested, he goes to jail. All right? Here are more jobs. Here's a correctional teacher. Now, some of these will overlap the correctional officer. The bailiff. We forgot about him, okay? Recreation specialist. Rehabilitation specialist. The chaplain. Correctional records technician. And you probably already had the judge in the last one, so don't count that one. Superintendent. In the correctional industry is a profession who manages the prison. Attorney. This is important. Psychologist. Behavior specialist. Okay. One that they didn't put in there is the nurse. Number 2 is the food service. There's a kitchen. That means that's the cook. And then there is the supplier of the food. And then there's the delivery truck that gets the food to the jail. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's prison 1. Prison 2 probably will bring up the tray. Probably, hopefully will bring up the warden. Okay. All right. Y'all counting? Y'all did y'all get the count in? Because I don't know. I haven't counted yet. Here's the warden. Associate wardens and camp administrators. Executive assistant. Associate works closely with the warden. Department heads. Those are the executive staff overseeing various departments within the institution, which is the unit manager, supervisor of education, the captain, the facilities manager. Man. Okay. And then I think we did this already. Psychologists, counselors. All right. We did these in the last one. Man, it goes on. This is crazy. Huh. Just a woman who loved us. Social worker. I'm sure social worker might have been in there under another name, but you're right. Dietary staff. Kenneth said that's too much. Anybody else? Lawmakers making this. That's right. They have to figure out how to keep him in jail. Come on. That's good. HR department. Yes. A TT we mentioned like nurse, medical staffing, period. Yes. What about ETF? ETF. What do you call them, folks? The ETs, the ambulance folks. What do you call them? Okay. They have them there in prisons. They might even be the ones on the street as well who come to maybe give aid to a perpetrator. Thank you, Susan. Laundry. Elaine, insurance company. Come on, y'all. Adult education teacher. We might have had something in there. Okay. I think we mentioned we mentioned laundry, but the supplier of the clothes. Thank you, EMT. I'm EMF. What did I say? ETF. I'm thinking of stocks. Okay. Emergency technician. Yes. Man, DT, this is the fortune of failure. One fool stole my baby girl's car and created all these jobs. Cassie, I don't know how old he was, but the way they talked about him, he was in his 20s. Early 20s. Reformatory, Lisa says. Mm-hmm. Yes, Veronica, escort to court. Yes, absolutely. Car rental, that's good. That's good. Timothy, insurance adjuster. I think somebody might have alluded to that. Yeah. Possibly Uber drivers. That's true. And Lyft drivers. Yeah. Work relief programs. Y'all pretty good. If I wrote a book on this, I'm gonna save this show in y'all's comment sections. I'm gonna save the comment section. That's how many people. That fool he has created more jobs than the president of the United States. That one boy who stole that car. Yeah. Crimes cost, and it pays. I lost track of it. The names were called out in the prison. Yeah, Sylvia. Yeah, I lost track too. But can anybody give me a count, an estimate count of how many jobs were created? The bondsman, Sophia. How did we mention bondsman? How could we forget about the bondsman? Now I mentioned that the boy who keeps committing a crime, he bails out the next day. I did mention that, but I didn't put the bonds person in this list. The bondsman. I think parole officer might be in there under other names. Elaine says 30. An estimate of about 30 people. Carolyn got 38 who kept their jobs because this one fool stole a car. DT said, at this point, you can host a job fair. That's crazy. Anissa, you came up with 80? Good Lord. I mean, this is crazy, y'all. The fortune of failure. So you all could take this, yes, the phone company, because he's allowed a call, one call, depending on where you are. He's allowed phone calls. So the phone providers and the company that installed the phones in the jails and in the prisons. And then there are the private prisons in which are owned by private corporations and those who are investing in the stock market who may have stock in those private prisons. So some of us may have some index funds where a private prison might be within that index. So you are part owner of some of these prisons. We mentioned court reporter, Nathan. That's crazy, ain't it? A statistician keeping count of those fools for funding. Yeah, this is true, TT. This is true. All right. So I just wanted to, when my daughter told me about this 2 days ago, I said, you know what, baby girl, that's the fortune of failure. She's like, what is that? I said, baby girl, that little boy helped maintain and sustain several jobs for stealing your truck. So amazing. Don't forget the slave labor that the prisons get from the inmates. True. A lot of goods and services, and yep, we use are from, yeah, that's right, inmate labor. Well, we mentioned one of the items is called a license plate. How apropos, right? The license plate, which we hear come from that slave labor, from prisons. Let me know which companies are included. I definitely won't buy. Right, Peggy? Peggy, yeah. I'm very specific in the S&P 500, which companies I don't like. But the thing about S&P 500, depending on which product you buy, whether you use QQQ, QQQM, or VOO, or VTI, or a CHSHM, there's a whole bunch of index funds, all right, that serve some of them the top 500, some of them the top 100, what have you. You can decide which one you want to be in and be out, meaning as a whole. You can't just pick one out of the 500 and say, I don't want that company in my fund. Well, you can't do that. But you can look at the group of index and look and see the ones that you don't like and say, well, I don't want to be a part of that index because I can't take a basket full of eggs and I can't go in there and pull an egg out. It would be likened to Salt Covenant. Mm-hmm. Salt Covenant is, I have a bag of salt, he have a bag of salt. We're getting ready to make a covenant with each other, and I take some salt out of my bag and put it in his bag. He takes salt out of his bag and puts it in my bag, and we shake it up. It is virtually impossible for me to go back into his bag and pull my salt out. You understand? That's what ETFs and index funds are. You have to buy the whole or none at all. You can't just pick which one you want. The only way to do that is to not buy the whole fund and then just buy individual stocks, which is more volatile, more risky. You understand? Or find another fund that might be smaller, where at least most of them in there, you say, whether I like it or not, it's not something that goes against my morals. Mm-hmm. Come on, Joyce. You can't separate the salt. Blood covenant is the same way. You can't separate the blood. Mm-hmm. All right. I just posted in the finance room on Patreon about credit scores. People who brag that they've got great credit scores. And let me tell you, the more you brag, the more the companies and the debtors out there are laughing at you for bragging because you got an 850 credit score. Credit scores do not represent what you make. That doesn't mean that you're wealthy or you have good wealth, generational wealth. Or it doesn't say anything about your money. It just says that you can pay your bills. And guess what? Poor people pay bills. Come close. How close are you? Joyce, do your job. Poor people pay their bills. Why? Because they need to hold on to whatever they have. And they know if they miss a payment, they could lose. So poor people pay their bills. Poor people cannot afford to miss a payment. And the credit card agencies and all these other places love poor people because they know that they can charge them the highest interest rate possible. You watch it, Anissa? Thank you very much. They can charge you the highest interest rate possible. They love poor people because poor people must pay their bills on time because they know they have to. And if they get into a crunch where they can't pay it, they go and get into further debt by going and getting more credit. Y'all understand? Let your nose touch the screen, Joyce. All right, to get more credit. And so this is the mentality that I've said this the other day that you all could have a lot of money and still be poor. You all can. Some of you are making $200,000, but you can still be poor because your mentality is poor because you are consumers. That young man who stole that car have a poor man's mentality. Something happened in his home where he feel that this is the way to survive. And he's just walking around willy-nilly. He doesn't have a care in the world. There is no future in him whatsoever. And this is what he's going to do until he can't do it no more. And he's going to one day steal the wrong car, and he may lose his life. Or somebody's going to be hurt or might lose their life because he stole that car. And then he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. There's no more bonding out and no more this, no more. He's going to spend the rest of life in prison. Or he's going to keep doing this over and over again for many years to come. And then he's going to eventually sit down, stop his world of crime, and he's going to be depending on somebody to take care of him because he won't have anything. He haven't built anything. He haven't invested in anything. He's just been a career criminal, and he's going to stop his crimes, sit back, and he might be in his 50s and say, dang, I have nothing but a rap sheet. He may have impregnated dozens of girls, and that's the life of that young man. I'm going to be in the men's room this week on Patreon, starting tomorrow in the men's room, and I'm going to be showing y'all some things that are kind of disturbing among men and young men. All right. Meanwhile, tonight is the last night of my inductive study at Faith Temple. It'll be posting. It's going to play live on Patreon in the upper room. All right. It was quite an interesting last session for me. All right. So if you're in the upper room, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, live for about an hour or so, and it'll be my teaching. And then I'm going to bring out some really hard scriptures for that room. And you're going to see some of the head scratching, but we had to do it. It was a good session. Today's my son's birthday, Walter Jones Jr. So you all wish him a happy birthday. He turned 35 today. Y'all, I'm old. I am old. He turns 35 today. So I've already reached out, gave him some money. So he's smiling. He should be smiling right about now. And meet y'all in the men's room tomorrow. You see this all the time, the actress Houston? Mm-hmm. I have no idea who we're speaking of. However, I pray God turns it around. Amen, Minister Misty. Always good to see you. Okay. This generation seems to want $1 million in their accounts by tomorrow. Fast money. Yes, Kathy, this is true. All right. As I close this down, there was so much going on in America today, especially in politics, and we're fighting even after over Kendrick Lamar and his Super Bowl fiasco. I don't know. I don't get involved in a lot of that stuff. I just don't. I know who Kendrick is. I don't listen to his music. I don't care for rap music or hip hop. I just don't care for it. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Sometimes it's so fast. I don't know what they're saying. I think it's brilliant that a man or woman could use their talent to be able to string words together in a rhythmic fashion and to rhyme or half rhyme at the end. That takes a lot of talent and structure and a gifting that I'll never understand. How you could just do that freestyle a lot of times. That takes a lot. And so, man, it'd be amazing that some of these guys would take that and use it for the better good, and not just in your music. Now, I can't go against somebody's style of music, all right? Because when we were listening to soul or R&B, our fathers were saying the same thing that I may be saying right now. All right. Lucille, really? Thank you. And then that helps me out. My father would say, what is this music y'all listening to? All right. And we like, you don't understand this music? This is some good stuff. So now we find ourselves doing the same thing with our children. I don't know what this stuff is. I just don't understand it. So evidently there's been a beef with Kendrick Lamar and the Canada guy, Drake, and I don't understand it. I just don't. But young people do, and white people understand it. Sugar Hill Gang, right, Sheila? That's all I knew was hip hop, hibbity hip hip hop. You don't stop a rock. Now that's a jam. and then they didn't go. Okay, and that was a jam. That was my jam. So I don't get it. I don't. But it is something that the young people are doing. Well, the Super Bowl caused a ripple amongst the MAGA folks and the liberals and the conservatives, and here we go again. So y'all just get used to politics and social norms of the strife that we're seeing. It's in everything. When you go to church, it's there. On your job, it's there. At the water cooler, you're watching the Grammys, it's there. You're watching a sports event like the Super Bowl, it's there. You're in church, your pastor is talking about politics. On your job and at school, wherever you go, you're going to hear it. We can't escape it, you all. That's the way it's going to be until it's not. But I don't think it'll ever be not. So get used to it. Meanwhile, keep your focus on Jesus. Keep your focus on Jesus. Your son's age doesn't make you old, but Sugar Hill Gang should. I know. Thank you. I think. All right. So I don't understand it. And like who said it, I don't want to understand it, Joyce. I just don't want to understand it. But I know you all want to do a blackout. I know you all want to not shop at places like Target. I get it. Hold on. But can I say something before I end this show? Huh? Because this happens every few years when somebody who's sitting in the White House or somebody who don't look like us do something. It could be a person or an organization does something, or policy happens where black folks figure we ain't going to shop at so and so and so. I got two things I want to say. Okay. Two things. And then I'm going to blow my nose. I'm not catching the cold. It's just that this tea is working with, it's doing a great job. Number one. You black people should have been supporting black businesses anyway. You understand? You black folks should have always been supporting black businesses. Every time I leave this house or go online and want to buy something, the first thing I say to myself before I press a button is this a black-owned business? Because I have a preference. Like white folks have preferences, I have a preference. That doesn't make me a bigot. That just means that I'm choicey. I have a preference to help a certain people who may be struggling. You understand? If white folks were struggling and the roles was the other way, I would be shopping at white folks' businesses to help them come out the struggle. like Hispanics. I want to help them. Asians, may want to help them if they were a struggle. But they ain't struggling as much as we are, because when I drive up and down in Chicago, it's the Pilsen, back of the yards, or what we may call Humboldt Park, where Hispanics are. Their businesses are thriving. They got business after business after business, and it's always crowded up and down those streets, their main thoroughfare of Hispanic and Mexican and Puerto Rican, and wherever they come from. They are thriving in their neighborhoods, and they got the taco trucks, and you get the corn and all that stuff. Man, they're thriving. Their businesses are booming over there. But you go into the black neighborhoods, it's almost like a ghost town. I live in Roseland. You can drive up and down Michigan Avenue, and it's like businesses got their shutters down, and the gates are down, or this is boarded up, and it looks horrible. And the streets over in the Pilsen area, or the back of the woods, back of the yard, that is, man, you can hardly get through there. I mean, it's you got to just get out your car and walk, because this is how congested they are, and it's sad that it's that way, because we wanted desegregation. Well, we got it, but we also jumped out of our neighborhoods to want to be like other folks, trying to be like the Joneses. And so every time I want to eat, I say, okay, is there a black place where I could support my brothers and sisters? You should have always been doing that. Y'all understand? So a black man's money, he gets his money, and it don't even circle in our neighborhoods. It goes out of the neighborhood. All right? It just goes out. But the Asian money circles around. I can't remember how many times. I think 6, 7 times, 12. I can't remember. It's a whole bunch of times. Hispanic money just circles in the community like this, just like this. And black money come in and go right back out. We leave our neighborhoods to go shopping. I leave my neighborhood to go shopping because there aren't many black businesses in my neighborhood. I mean, you see black people working in the stores, but they're working in somebody else's store. There was a black bank up the street from me, and it was called Seaway National Bank. It was black owned, and I was getting ready to pull some of my money out of my Chase account and put it and open up an account at Seaway National. And then Seaway National, the owners of that bank, said we're not in the banking industry no more. And the black family that started that bank sold it over to non-black folks. So I said, I'm not opening an account there, because I was going to do that. I was going to support you. And what happened with Seaway, it's a shame that this did happen, is that there was a push for black people to start supporting black banks in Chicago. I mean, they was all on the radio, they was doing TV commercials, and they were on Instagram, and they were on Facebook, and this big tick of black depositors. People were opening up bank accounts at Seaway National Bank. This was some years ago. This was before the whole George Floyd thing happened. And man, it was this excitement of a black renaissance in Chicago, and people were opening up bank accounts like crazy. And more depositors, they said they hadn't seen that many depositors in 1 month. It was great. And then just a few months later, it got sold to white folks. And all those black depositors was like, you gotta be kidding me. We only open up an account here to help us. And now their money is being made by I just don't understand us. I don't understand us. I really don't. So that's number one. Number two gonna hurt y'all. It happens all the time. Then black folks get famous and donate a few $100. Don't get me started, D.T. Richards. Don't get me started. Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me. Don't do it. A study to the WHO Center for Economic Growth found that money circulates 1 time in African American communities, 6 times, I knew it, in Latinos, 9 times in Asians. Okay, I said 6 to 12 times in Asians. Didn't I say that? I was close. 1 time in the black folks' neighborhoods. The United Bank was Philly black bank. Yeah, it's sad, y'all. It's sad. So let me say this second thing, and I'm gonna go back to school and go back to work. I work for you all, so I got to go back in Patreon. I guess I work for y'all. I enjoy working for the bunkers. Ooh, I tell you, it's not even a job. When you love your job, it ain't a job. I love working with the bunkers. Here is the thing. Number one, you should have never stopped supporting black businesses. All right, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Number two, and here's the hardest one right here, is this. I can't join your blackout. I can't. For a couple of reasons. Number one, you don't really give me a solution when you wanted to just black out. Don't shop here at this white store, don't shop this white here. What's the solution? Let's shop at black. Okay, where? All right. And then if we're going to do that, can we be collective? Well, we can't be collective because here's the thing. Every blackout promotion that you all push, none of them ever work. None of them. Y'all been doing blackouts for years. None of them ever work. Ever. What is that black brother? Oh, man. He did a program. This show would come on used to come on every week. He's a very intelligent rapper, heavyset. He would hang out with T something, T-Pain or T something. What is his name? Somebody gonna put it in the comments section. Really intelligent. Every now and then you might even see him on Bill Maher. And I mentioned a few names, and I mentioned him at the end of the show last week. As soon as y'all give me his name, I'll tell y'all, not Heavy D. Not him. Black guy, heavy. Very smart. Thank you, Monkey Moose. Thank you, DT. Killer Mike. Killer Mike, and I think I played this. I did. In the finance room last year. Killer Mike did a thing where he decided to buy only black. Do y'all remember that? If you're on Patreon, he was only going to shop only black for the week. And the cameras followed him around town. And he found himself having a really hard time. T.I., yeah, Killer Mike and T.I. He found himself having a hard time. He almost couldn't do anything. Because he realized that black people just didn't own hardly anything that he needed. From the time he woke up, his bed was white, his sheets was white, his covers was white, the sink that he washed his face in was white, the soap was white, the toothbrush was white, the toothpaste was white, the mirror was white, the mouthwash was white, the shoes he was wearing was white, the carpet he walked on was white. You remember that, TT? He couldn't get in the car because we don't own cars, so he finally found he had to ride around on a bicycle that a black guy created. Not created, but put together for him. I mean, and then he went to go to a soul food restaurant, and the food might have been cooked by the black man, but the food came from China or something like that. It was embarrassing. I mean, it was, but he really did something. He showed us something. Now, I do know that since that time, black people are now, there is a black company that do create, there's a black business that offers cell phone service. I do know that. And toothpaste and toothbrush. I saw it in the black guy. There's a black guy. This is true. The problem was the suppliers. And I got what he was trying to do. He said, okay, a black company may have ownership of that, but the suppliers that supply all of the parts of this piece are Asian or European. You understand? I mean, it was something to think about. So when you all are pushing blackouts, well, it would be very difficult it's impossible to do a blackout because you told us about a blackout on a white man's phone. You said from tomorrow until Saturday, we're going to not shop white. Meanwhile, you're going to be on a white man's phone. You're going to be on Instagram. Everything in your house is white. It's impossible to do blackout. So what you do is you target certain stores. Get it? Target certain stores. Okay, I get it. My one problem with boycotting certain stores is that my children work there. So do yours. And when you're targeting these white stores, you are targeting your own children. What happens if this thing work, where these stores lose thousands or maybe millions, let's say, millions of dollars? Those black kids that working there may get laid off. I ain't doing it. Find another way. When we only come together for something like this, and y'all can't come together for generational wealth and have classes on how to invest your money, I don't want to join none y'all doing. I just don't. The Killer Mike experience of buying only black. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't want to join y'all with all this stuff. If you have not been buying black before all this stuff, and if you have not been having meetings at your church, let's do a Bible study for the next 6 weeks on finance. We can find a whole lot of stuff in the scriptures on finances. Let's see if we can get these people not to brag on their credit scores. We are people that are like crabs pulling each other down instead of helping each other. You're 71. You sure look good. And have been preaching what you are saying to all my family for years. Amen. Teresa Worthy. Ooh, Worthy. You got the right name. You are worthy. So, boycotting. Listen, it ain't working. I gotta blow my nose, y'all. I don't want to blow in the front of y'all. How rude! That means I'm doing all right when my nose is running. That means my system is being purge me with hyssop, and I shall be whiter than snow. All right. So I'm not blacking out, y'all. I'm gonna do what I've always been doing. I'm gonna keep shopping at stores where I need it, with the hopes that these black people who are working at these stores could get a raise because I'm shopping there. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep teaching on Patreon in the finance room how we should be investing our monies and how we should save our monies and how we should keep our monies and how we then would spend our monies. How? How do we spend it? Today's drop on the credit score, we were talking about how not to be buying everything on credit. The typical person, because some of y'all don't carry cash and you really should. Can I say something to y'all about that? Some of y'all don't carry cash just like you don't want to. You got to stop that. I always try and carry some cash on, all right? Y'all putting too much trust in these credit cards. You got to stop it. I use credit cards on almost everything because it benefits me because I get cash back and I get all these benefits from my cards. All right, yes, that's how I use my card. But I also keep cash because when it's time to buy something and you got a choice whether to use cash or card, you will spend more on that card than you would cash. Because so I have a habit of some things I use cash for because I know that I won't overspend. So what I say, okay, I'm gonna buy this, but I'm gonna use my cash because if I don't want to buy this and this and this, because if I put my credit card, I'm not only gonna buy this one thing, I'm gonna buy 5 other things. So to help me, I'm gonna just buy this one thing and pull out a 20. That stops me from spending. That's how you really should do it. That's how we should do it. So carry some cash because the day may come when you traveling out of town, what have you, and your card and the system shuts down. Ask me how I know. That sucker ain't working. And all you got is a credit card. and you got an opportunity to dig in your wallet and pull out your cash so you can get yourself out of something. Danny, you doing better? Y'all better start carrying some cash. And Sheila, carry some cash. A debit card is not cash. Cash limits you from buying. Carry some cash, y'all. Stop playing. And especially when I go to church and I see those young folks, and I want to bless them. I can't give them a credit card. All right. And a lot of them don't have cash apps. So I pull out my cash and boy, the look at them young folks' faces when I pull out that cash. Woo! I put a bunch of 20s in my pocket and I go to church. And I see these kids and I say, here, baby. Here, baby. Because they in college, and they need this, they need that. I pull out that 20 and say, here. Yeah. I know you got good parents. I know they take good care of you, but Uncle Sir want to bless you here. Take that 20 and go down and get you some bubble gum. Cash is still king. And this will stop us from overspending and getting so much into debt. Save up enough money, invest in the market so that you can have enough money so the next car you buy, you're going to pay cash for it. Cash is still king. My son worked at Target before he was called to work at Chicago Fire Department. Amen, Jeanette. Yeah, I know y'all targeting Target, but so God, we thank you. We love you. We're giving you the praise for what you've done for us today. We expect more, but we're going to serve you because we are your children. And because we ask you for bread, you will not give us a stone. So thank you, God, for giving us our daily bread. We love you. And these people here, bless their homes. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank God. Amen. All right, y'all. See y'all tonight, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time on Patreon. And we'll talk about inductive study, week 4. It should be quite interesting. I can't wait to read y'all's comments. I love to see the comments in the comment section. I love to see them comments. I read them all. And I say, oh, God, look at that. I'm going to do a show based off of that right there. Take care. Just like the gum that's hanging on at the bottom of my shoe, you Christians get on my nerves. Look at this clowning right here.
We don't make it rain on booty cheeks. We don't make it rain on strippers. We only reverence one stripper. And that's the one that took off glory to put on humanity and then get butt naked on a cross And he's the one that puts that bread in my pocket.
Man, I tell you, let's talk about the messology that's going on in Christendom today. I'm sick of you. I'm safer in the world than I am in the church. At least I know that the world hate me.
Fellas, does it seem like you can't get a good woman? Ladies, wonder why you can't keep a man? Then read The 4 Women That Men Desire, Volume 1, by Sirwalterj to figure out how to break the cycle. Go to Amazon.com to get your copy today.